Welcome to the GuideWell Insights Lounge. This is Kate Warnock coming to you from day 2 of the Synapse Summit. Here in Tampa, we have another wonderful guest joining us, Mr. Ned Pope. Ned, welcome to the interview.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate it.
Ned, your title is the Tech Program Manager at Nielsen.
Yes.
You're going to be talking about something different here today at the Synapse Summit.
A little bit different.
You're
yes.
going to be talking about music and innovation. Fill us in on what ground you're going to cover.
So it's kind of interesting. I've been a musician for the majority of my, I guess I would say, teenage years to now.
Yeah.
It's always been a passion of mine, but it's one of those things where you keep separate lives, right? So technology life, more of a professional life, and then the music is more of the passion and creative outlet. I'm getting to a stage, and I think we're seeing this in the industry, where those worlds are colliding. So there's a lot of use of really innovative, really interesting technology to not only allow existing artists to bolster their music and their creativity, really expand what they can do with their art, but also to introduce new people into the space that maybe hadn't thought that they had that creative instinct. And so they can use various different software platforms to explore that at an early age and really grow that over time. So we're going to be talking about that today, various mechanisms of using technology for live performance, for recording, and then also how it's affected the promotional and outreach side of that.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Well, wonderful. I mean, it just goes to show that Synapse Summit just is really covering this really vast array of innovation, isn't it?
Yep.
You're also on the board, you were telling me
I
before.
am indeed,
so
yes.
you're intimately familiar with all the details.
Yeah, it's coming
so.
full circle. It's great.
All right, well, Ned, looking at your background, I know that you have lots of expertise with public-private partnerships. What are some of the lessons that you took away from that experience?
Well, I love public-private partnerships because they allow for a lot of flexibility in what was traditionally a very rigid model to provide services to a civic area or a group of citizens. And so having worked in the public sector for a long time and done technology in the public sector, you start to see how some of that fluidity can be very helpful going forward. So the way it generally works is you have an independent funder of some source, you have a private sector contractor, just like you would through a typical procurement pipeline, and then you have a public entity. The public entity sets the accountability structure and the deliverable based on the bare minimum of service that they want to see or what quality standard they want to set for that particular group. You see it a lot in the transportation space. It might be, building a set of overpasses
Right.
or an entire new pipeline through the middle of a city. We see it a lot, or we're starting to see it more in the technology sector with public entities, state and city governments. So what happens is it provides for a lot of flexibility for that private sector entity to try to build efficiencies and creativity and some resourcefulness into delivering that service. As long as they meet the minimum or exceed the minimum level of quality, they're able to try different things within that structure to provide that service. If they can create more efficiency, they build out a larger profit margin for themselves, which incentivizes them to process more units, help more people, help a larger area. So I really believe in the concept, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the technology and innovation space specifically.
Well, so maybe with our final question then, let's talk about, that public-private partnership, so much opportunity. How is Synapse itself, because I know you're on the board.
Yes.
How is that going to really help drive those opportunities? Where do you see it going?
Well, it came about organically. And so that's what makes the Synapse Summit and some of these other collaborative efforts so interesting and so exciting, is because you're seeing Miami-based companies and entities and organizations represented here at Synapse in Tampa Bay. You're seeing Orlando-based companies and Jacksonville-based companies. And so it really is becoming a statewide effort. I think our collaboration at the civic level, from city to city, region to region, is vital. Florida is the only state that has 5 major media markets and 5 major economic hubs within its borders. So we should leverage that, right? We should be
Absolutely.
collaborating as opposed to competing, because we're all within the same state entity and the same standards and policies, right? So I think our tax code here in Florida is very advantageous to new businesses, specifically international businesses or international entrepreneurs. You're gonna see them coming over and being able to access that pipeline for P3 opportunities, because it really does allow you to provide a public service by operating like a very efficient and creative private entity, which a lot of private companies want to see. They want that flexibility to try and be more efficient.
That's right. Well, Ned, I think that you're the first guest here in the lounge that's really mentioned those 5 media markets and the opportunity and the differentiation that provides Florida. So we really have something to work with, don't we?
Yes, we're in an exciting place to be.
All right. Well, Ned, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us here at the Insights Lounge.
Thank you, Kate.
All
I appreciate
right.
it.
This is Kate Warnock. Thanks for watching.